And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of our Tubbering introspective. Today we will be going over Secret Handshakes. But first, we're going to give people a little time to get on. How was your day today, Rob?
My day was pretty good, pretty uneventful.
Me too.
How about yours?
Yeah, same, uneventful. I was really tired. I kept falling asleep on the couch. So I made myself 2 cups of coffee and put them in my giant mug to drink today. Yeah, I got no small
Is
talk.
that Star Wars guy?
This is a
What's that
porg.
called?
A porg. The story behind that was they were filming on an island, and the island had many puffins there, and they were a protected species, so they couldn't get them. They couldn't move them. They couldn't get them out of all the shots in the background. So they figured they would just make something that looked like a puffin porg, and then if any of them were hiding in the background shots, they wouldn't have to worry about erasing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I figured that would kill a minute or two, but it didn't. I could have stretched that story, I guess. Anybody saying porg mug? Where do we stand on The Last Jedi? That's a good random. We'll start off the day with Star Wars talk. I got disenchanted with the Disney Star Wars trilogy about 2 months before Last Jedi came out because I was excited about the new one too, The Force Awakens, and I was one of those nerds that was trying to figure out who Snoke was and who Rey's parents were. And about 2 months before Last Jedi came out, there's a bunch of interviews, and Rian Johnson, actors, Mark Hamill, all said that they had absolutely nothing planned, and they were just kind of writing it as they were going along, so they changed everything. And I kind of feel like, as a Star Wars fan, that hurts because every movie had previously retcons the movie before, and kind of the one thing you should do for Star Wars fans is have a plan. So, Last Jedi, the scenes that I liked are the scenes that they killed Snoke, spoiler, and kind of showed Rey's parents were nobodies, because I kind of felt the same way, like, well, screw that then, do something different. But on a whole, the movie wasn't that good. The whole casino scene was terrible, and then they course corrected for the last one, but by that point, I need something new to get me excited about Star Wars again.
Mm-hmm.
And that still didn't kill enough time to wait for people to get on. But there's my Star Wars.
I'm gonna be right back. You entertain them for a minute, I guess.
Okay. Guess I'll talk about Star Wars some more. How did you feel about it? The last movie, I thought it was good that they course corrected, because what else were they going to do? But yet, it just felt a little empty. I think the Marvel movies have taken over my nerddom lately more than Star Wars. I'm a fan of those. Rob's been having a little trouble with his connection, although I don't think he's going to fix that right now. He's probably going to get some coffee too. Our whole discography is planned out better in the new trilogy. I agree. I didn't mind when Disney bought Star Wars because I really liked what they did with Marvel. But I guess a lot of that came down to Kevin Feige as opposed to Kathleen Kennedy. If you want to really nerd out about things, I still like the porks, though. I mean, I know they're a terrible marketing ploy to make people buy things like porg mugs, but I'm a sucker for good marketing. Now I have a porg mug. How about DC? I read comics a lot growing up for quite a while. I was always more of a Marvel guy, but I would collect certain DC ones. So I kind of felt like that with the movies too. It would always be secondary. I'm not rooting for them to fail, but they definitely have a few times. I thought Shazam was good in more of a family meets Deadpool way. What else did they have going? Obviously, Joker was great. I think they're starting to find a good groove that they're just telling stories. I think that the one-off stories, it's smart for them to do because obviously their shared universe didn't work out so well. My Star Wars nerddom has also been replaced by Marvel. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think of things as a kid. Mr. Unstable, you have a son. Does he like the Marvel movies more than Star Wars? And that's his growing up. I can imagine those being so exciting for a kid. They're exciting for me, adults. Yes, of course I watched The Mandalorian. There's a really good 5-minute little short about the making of Mandalorian that you should watch, even if you're not interested in filmmaking. The way that they did that is amazing. Okay. Well, I think you're back now, Rob?
I am.
Okay. Well, I guess we should get started then.
I'm back.
All right.
Cool.
So, yeah, there it is. Oh, yeah. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to day 5. We are discussing Secret Handshakes. It is our 5th studio album. Title-wise, it is actually not named after a SETI theory, but the whole album was kind of secret societies and paranoia theme going through it. So, Secret Handshakes was a very apt title. I remember the running title for a long time was Turtles All the Way Down, which I liked from anecdotes that Stephen Hawking told, but we changed it at the last minute. And to you, Rob. That way. Yeah.
Sure. Secret Handshakes. I've got kind of a long intro. Do you have any more to add that you want
I don't
to do before I
go nuts?
Okay. Well, so I'll get the specifics of how it was recorded first. We recorded this mostly at my home studio. Everything, and I also mixed it at my home studio. There wasn't really any outside producers on this one. I mostly produced it with the help of the band too, and mixed it. And we did record the drums and the bass at Steve Albini's famous studio, Electrical Audio, which is probably the most famous Chicago studio. It's always in any of those like documentaries or shows about recording studios. It's just an awesome recording studio, and the drums and the bass were recorded there, and they sound awesome on the record. And I've recorded there several more times since, and it's just like a great studio to record at. The guy that
to interject right there, way even before that, I mean, if you're from Chicago, you know Steve Albini, he's a legend out there, and his philosophies on recording are always out. And he just likes like the raw rock and stripped down and not really many studio tricks. And I would always think like, wow, he would hate a band like us. And then eventually we recorded at a studio. Granted, he didn't produce us, but I just thought that was funny. I had always constantly thought, oh, Steve Albini would hate us. Back to you.
We actually hired his like number 2 guy there, Greg Norman, to engineer the drums and the bass, and he is phenomenal at it. Again, just like sounds so great. The room there to record the drums is massive, so it gave us the ability to get some of these like really far away sounds as well as like really close up sounds on the drums, and just gives you a lot to like mix with, and you can just do a lot. And it's definitely my favorite drum sounding record of ours. We added to the lineup for this record our good friend Patrick Windsor on guitar, who's a buddy of ours. He lives out in LA now, and me and Ken and Patrick hang out a lot. And we added Scott Radway on drums, who is a phenomenal drummer. Like, I mean, we've been kind of always blessed with really good drummers, and Scott is like right up there with any of them. He also played drums for Dog Fashion, Disco after this or before this maybe, or during this, and great drummer, and added quite a bit to the record stylistically. Our buddy Lenny Gilmore did the artwork, and he has done a lot of artwork for us and me, and he's a good guy. He's a good dude. And yeah, let's see, Trevor Erb played bass on this one again. Same bassist from previous album, Great Filter. So again, I have kind of a long-winded intro. I'm sorry, so this one, I'll try and keep the song commentary shorter in order to kind of like get a lot of the thoughts out on this one in the beginning. So I think we walked away from Great Filter and like, you know, again, and this has come up on all the albums, I felt like, man, there were things we did wrong on Great Filter, and I knew it right away, right as we put it out. And, you know, I'm not trying to dog Great Filter, but I came at this next one, Secret Handshakes, and I focus, it is now or never. We have to make a great record front to back. There can be no things on it that I'm ashamed of the day after we put it out. And so a big influence to me on this record was actually the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And in songwriter and production lingo, people say Sgt. Pepper, like that's the best album by an artist. Like who's Neil Young's, which album by Neil Young is his Sgt. Pepper? Or it's kind of slang for like this artist's best album. And so in my mind, I wanted to make our Sgt. Pepper like our kind of masterpiece, our opus. So, you know, figuratively, but also literally, in that the actual album Sgt. Pepper is this really cool blend of both experimental and pop, which Tubbring had kind of been all along, but I really wanted to like nail that down. Like every song should be really catchy, but also really experimental. And I thought, in a nutshell, that's kind of what Tubbring was to me, or what I always, in my mind, I always wanted Tubbring to be that, the bridge between pop and experimentalism. So it was cool because I kind of had been producing and mixing records on my own for a while at this point. And so it was cool in that, and I had a lot of gear and I had a decent recording setup at my place. So now what that gave us, it was the ability to kind of like work things out, rework them, go back, add new things to them, take them away. That's something we never had the luxury of doing before on any of our other albums. But this one, I could spend literally a whole month just getting something right on one particular song, and I did, and I spent quite a lot of time like editing things. If you listen to the production, there's just like Easter eggs all over the place in production. There's just little sounds or little parts that an instrument will play that'll pop up just on the left side or on the right side, or you know, there'll be a drum beat that's distorted for a measure, but then it's clean for the next. Or there's like a backwards guitar hit here, and like I spent a lot of time really like making this experimental in production from a production standpoint, and again trying to keep the songs fun and have a pop element to them, you know, like good hooks, good songwriting. Wasn't trying to hide behind production or anything. The songs all had to be awesome songs as well. And yeah, I don't know. There's I guess I kind of always mention what I was listening to at the time. With this record, again, Radiohead, In Rainbows had just come out, and there's quite a few In Rainbows like parallels on this album. I was listening to Queen a lot, and a band called the Paper Chase, and Paper Chase is led by this guy John Congleton, who I was going to get to work on the record, like maybe mix it for us. But anyways, I kind of like use a lot of his production ideas on this, and that like sometimes like for a measure you'll hear things really close up, and then for a measure you'll hear them really far away, and things change. And like I said, a vocal will be distorted for these words, and then they won't be for these words, and then they'll be pitch shifted for these words and not for these words. And anyways, kind of that was a big inspiration on this production wise. And sorry for my long intro. That's pretty much how I wanted to introduce this.
No, you're rather passionate. And I think some people made some guesses in the comment that I had made already too. But shall we start then? It's a good intro.
Sure.
Yeah. I had stuff to say about the album, but I think it'll be better to go over after the album when we start talking about ranks and whatnot. I think that would be a better place to begin. So let me turn this off and go into song number 1. Stop This Now. Rob, would you like to start?
I just had this long speech. You start this one.
Okay, that works. No, yeah, I think this was good to set the stage. I don't have too much to say about this. I think this is a good rock song. Set the stage for the album for me, lyrically, theme-wise, like this kind of paranoia, what's going on, weirdness. And I thought it was just a really good, catchy song to pull people in. You came at me with this song and I think Horrible and the Holy at the same time, not to bookend the album. And there were two great rock songs. I just loved both of them. And I think even we were thinking at first, well, maybe we'll use one and not use the other, but they both came out really great. I like this song a lot. It's that.
Me too. I think we've talked about it in other episodes, but I think like a lot of me and Kevin's writing is like us trying to impress each other. And I know I'm always trying to impress him when I give him something to work on. And he's said that he tries to impress me, and that's really nice and cool. And for sure on this record, I was like, every one of these, I got to impress him. And he got the demo that was just the music because he ended up writing the lyrics and melodies on top of my music. And I remember specifically, you heard this song and goes, you said to me, that's the best thing you've ever written. Really? Or like, that's the best demo you've ever given. Yeah. And you said that about Stop This Now. And I was like warm and fuzzy all over from that. And I remember that. So that was cool. Yeah, and
it's a bold statement to say the best song you ever written, but it's a great song. I don't feel that way when you heard it.
And when I got his demo back, where he put his vocals on top of it, I was blown away. And now when I listen to it, like I think Kevin's vocals are the star of this song. I mean, there's a lot of cool production stuff, but Kevin's vocals just blow me away. He's like, he's kind of like the verses, he's screaming like on the right side and singing it on the left side, and that just sounds so weird and cool. And he's doing that cool scream thing he does. And then in the breakdown, he actually does a yodel. That's what that is called, when he goes, and then the can't find me now. Like that's a vocal technique called a yodel. And Kevin had never done that on a Tubbring song that I can recall, and I thought that was really brilliant and amazing. And then he's got this really cool scat section during the solos, the do, and that was just so catchy. Scott's drumming on this song is insane and just awesome. Just this song has just got like all these weird melodies and synths and guitars playing different lines, but all at the same time, kind of in a chaotic way, but still in a really poppy way. And it's just, I love the song. It's like, and it's a great opener because of the energy, and it was a little homage to the Stop This Now, to the previous album. We had a song called Get Help Now, and I kind of like that. I just think that's really fun, and yeah, good album, sir.
Oh, I guess I should make a mention. Then this is an album that also does not start with a robot song, and it is the only Tubbring album without a robot song. There's no reference to the robot at all. If anything, I would say, even though it was kind of written before Requiem, Rebirth would fit on this, even though that song didn't turn out that well, and we put it on a B-side, and some of you may have it out there. I don't think I even put it out until the USB came, but Rebirth would be technically the fifth robot song, and it is not on this album. Just wanted to get that out there. All right, moving along.
Just to comment on what you just said, so each day that we're doing this, I go to, there's a page that has all the lyrics to every song on the planet. I think it's like that Genius page or whatever. So I just click on Tubbring to read our lyrics. I don't have the physical things. And anyways, it always has like a brief description or something. And I think it was on this one, or it might have been on Bandcamp or something else, but it's user input, you know. And the one description on it, I think it was on Genius. It said, Secret Handshakes, no robot songs, and a new Now song. And that was the description.
They're right. That's a weird description. New robots and a new Now song. They're correct. Robot comes back next album. Moving along. Bird of a Different Color. I'll start again since didn't. Another song I liked a lot when you gave me. The lyrics deal with kind of some mysterious goings on. It hints at something bigger. I usually don't comment on working on the melodies, but I liked how this worked out. I tried to make each line kind of build on the one previous. So you'd sing the next one, then maybe go an octave on the next one, then maybe get a little more aggressive on the next. And then by the last one, I was kind of screaming and then kind of layered them together. So each line built. That middle part, I think you didn't plan to have vocals in with the xylophone, but it turned out really well. So we kept it. For the short period of time we played this live, because this was around the end of our constant touring, this song sucked for me to play live. I remember that because of that vocal build. By the time it kind of like built into the chorus, I was spent. And then there was like notes in there that I was like struggling to hit, but didn't end up playing it live too long, unfortunately. And that's what I have.
Yeah, I think musically, I was going for like Danny Elfman, like Nightmare Before Christmas meets Pee-wee soundtrack. There's all these quick marimbas and xylophones and percussion that's going really fast throughout it. I love the production on this. It's got like musical little Easter eggs all over this like track, little things that pop into just like one side of the speaker for just a second, and then another thing that pops over to the other side. I mean, it's got like a full-on, mallet section, a full horn section playing in it, and it's got great drumming again and like great rhythm section. And then this fun baritone sax solo in the middle of it. These crazy mellotrons. It's awesome. I love the track.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think I'm going to leave this next song almost all up to you.
Goldfinger, yeah. So I'm singing lead on it, and I selfishly took that away from Kevin. Kevin also recorded it, the vocals to it, but I had written this one, I think, pretty much in its entirety on my own.
It sounded better on it, definitely. I mean, just if we're going to go certain things with where your voice fit on this way better than I sounded. It was nice to give me a go at the vocals, but it was obvious that you sounded better on this.
Hopefully I did. I'm not, like I don't have the recording of you on it. I remember really just liking singing the song, and I think I did like my voice on it over years at the end of the day. But I also really had fun singing the song, and maybe I had the demo for like months before you recorded it, so I also had demo-itis. So that could have had something to do with it. This is like one of my favorite Tubbering songs. It's cool. It's got kind of sounds like post-punk Chicago to me, with like these big fat distorted bass stuff and these guitar licks that aren't really guitar parts. They're like sliding and like just chugging on the guitar. It kind of reminds me of Chicago. This big distorted compressed drum beat. I remember I wrote the song because I started with that drum beat. That was the first thing, and I kind of like just built the whole song on top of that crazy distorted drum. And yeah, like the lyrics are kind of about this like magic touch bamboozler kind of guy, Goldfinger, and everything he touches turns to gold, but you got to watch out because that could be bad. And it's just kind of like a fun, there's like fun wordplay in the beginning where you're repeating the fact that you have a gold finger and it turns to gold, and I don't know, it's kind of like ironic and funny, but maybe I'm the only person that gets my own joke, but I like it.
All right. So moving along, Touching the Enemy. Okay. I think this was a later song written for the album, and I know this because somewhere in all of the songwriting, I had met my girlfriend at the time, now wife, Tanya, who I'm an 80s kid, grew up there. I remember the evil empire, those commies, and the Russians were always the bad guys. So when I started dating my now wife, Tanya, I think the title just kind of popped into my head, Touching the Enemy. And I thought that was kind of cool. But then I didn't write it a love song or about relationships at all. I just liked the title. So I tend to have a lot of, not a lot, but an odd amount of war songs, even though I'm not obsessed with war or anything. But I was thinking of someone, a soldier that was getting off on killing the other side, but shooting them wasn't enough. He actually liked to physically kill people, kind of psychotically, and that's what the lyrics were leading to.
So violent.
It's a little violent, yeah.
What does the blocking our sun line mean?
I'm trying to think of a reason for the war. I definitely had a visual of The Simpsons when Mr. Burns was putting up the big thing that blocked their sun. I was just thinking buildings and cities could be blocking someone's sun. It was just a reason to go to war in a weird. Once again, sometimes I can come up with a vague concept, and luckily, since you're writing a song and not a screenplay, you don't have to put too fine of a point on it.
This is like just a good combination of pop and experimental. Again, to me, it's this lo-fi, blown out, distorted, like electronica song. And it was a cool demo. And then Kevin's vocals and lyrics really like tied it together in an awesome way to me when I heard what he had written to it. It's kind of like his melodies are almost like a nursery rhyme, which is like always kind of poppy and catchy whenever you kind of have that. It's just great melody. I think that's like the standout part of the song. I also really like there's like different drum beats going on in the two different speakers, and they're not like synced up perfectly, and it creates this really weird, cool drag in the beat, which I also really like a lot. And that's my thoughts on that one.
I remember when you finished this song, the music, I don't even think I heard of it yet, and you made this comment, and we'll see if you know what you were talking about. You're like, oh, I came up with this new way of writing a song. If this song works, I'm just doing this from now on. It's so easy. You said that about this,
wow.
and what were you referring to? What was the easy trick that? Don't know.
Man, I don't know. Maybe it was the fact that we didn't really have to record live drums on it. It was all electronic.
I could have done that by this point. Maybe this was early. I don't know. It was cool that you like distorted almost every track in there. People listen to it and they feel like their speakers are messed up at first.
Yeah, it just sounds like just fucked. And I kind of love it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Burn. You got anything to say about this? I have a story I debated telling because it could be trigger warning, even though it's not.
Go ahead. Let's see. How do we stop that train from rolling?
Yeah, I figured once that was said. So in our younger days, Rob and I used to be roommates. We lived with each other pretty much throughout our 20s. And we'd hang out and play video games and watch TV. And one day we heard a news story about a guy. He was suicidal, something wrong with him. He stopped traffic on a bridge, and he had a knife, and he was making a big deal. And there was helicopters and cops coming, and there was a big standoff, and he was trying to lay down this large sheet over the bridge with words on it for something to read. So he finally does that and then gets back in his truck and lights it on fire and kills himself, which is a horrible thing. And on the sign that he put out, it was like a couple of letters, and apparently it was his healthcare provider, and he was upset that he couldn't get good healthcare and he was going to go out that way. Rob and I, in our younger, more snotty life, made a few observations and discussed what we would do if we were in that situation and if it had come to that. And we both agreed that we'd probably make the lead up a little more theatrical, do a little more crazy things to get a little more attention. And then we would throw over the big sheet so everyone would be wondering what's this going to say? What's your message that's going to be on this sheet? And Rob, do you remember what that message is?
Try the McRib.
Try the McRib. Yeah, that's our bad joke.
And then light yourself on fire.
So after all that story, many years passed and this song was written. And Rob asked me once, he's like, hey, that song Burn, is that about that story about that guy on the bridge? And actually it's not. I just wanted to use the word sulfur dioxide in a song. And that's the punchline.
Good one. I love this song. I love just how frantic it is. I love the lyrics, the blown out drums. My favorite overall thing about the song is how dynamics of the song, that it goes, and I saw somebody comment on this already, like the whispers, then the screams, like whisper, scream, like back and forth. It's just kind of such a fun dynamic that I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool and fun to hear again today.
I think we were wondering to put that on or not. That one was like probably the only debatable one, but when it was done, I was like, it's kind of a cool electro punky pop song. I was happy.
I remember debating that one because we had a couple other really good songs, but I liked it.
Okay, Cryonic Love Song. Would you like to start that one, Rob?
Sure. So, yeah, going back to being inspired by Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles for this song is an homage to the Beatles song When I'm 64. And what I kind of set out to do lyrically, I wrote kind of the first couple verses of it, and then Kevin finished kind of the story part of it at the end. But the original, concept was to make this homage to the Beatles song When I'm 64, but we're tubbering, so we got to make it like sci-fi or something, right? So now instead of a song like the Beatles wrote about this couple growing old together and talking about helping each other through life and still loving each other when they're 64, my version of that was like, well, will you still love me when I'm 505? Because we've been frozen in time through cryonics, and so when we wake up in the future together, we still have the same relationship. And there's like a line straight out of When I'm 64 that's, will you still need me? Will you still feed me? That's directly out of the Beatles song, and that's in like the second verse of Cryonic Love Song. Yeah, like I said, Kevin kind of finishes the story out at the end, and he kind of like made the story his own with the lyrics on the last half of it. And I think it's I really like this song because it's like a really good me and you collab, where like I kind of like set it up and then you spiked it, and it just worked out perfectly.
You did all the vocoder parts, right?
Yeah, I did the vocoder. Yeah, that's I guess that's me singing the first couple lines. And then we also have Chibi, the singer of Birthday Massacre, singing all the female vocal leads, which was really cool to kind of turn the song into a duet, which was fun.
Yeah, I don't have too much more written. I remember when I first heard it, it sounded kind of Muse-y, that organ in the back that was very kind of a Muse trick. So when I put the vocals, I tried to keep them a little Muse-y because it seemed like it would fit. I had a lot of fun doing the vocals on this one too. I think I tried a few things I hadn't before, like the weird high vocals in the last verse, which I didn't know if it would work or not, but I think it came out pretty good. Sometimes I can't be my own judge. Well, good. Okay, and I think you covered everything else. Mm-hmm. And you are going to also have to cover this one, Beat the Rapture.
Did I write all the lyrics? You wrote some of them, didn't you?
I don't think so. I think you might have wrote all of them.
Okay. Well, sorry for hogging.
Whether it had a name change. I don't know if you're going to discuss that.
Yes, I do have that. So we were kind of at the same time we were writing Secret Handshakes, we were also writing we have another project called Super 8-Bit Brothers, which is like this video game inspired band, just the two of us. It's all electronic. And we were kind of writing the album Brawl at the same time that we were writing Secret Handshakes. And I wrote this one, and initially it was going to be for Super 8-Bit Brothers. And that's why if you listen to
Strife.
What's that?
Was it Brawl or Strife?
It was Brawl. Mm. Yeah.
Cool.
And it was initially going to be for Super 8-Bit Brothers, and there's all these like 8-bit sounds in it, and these 8-bit arpeggios happening at the end, and that's why. But then, like at the end of the day, we thought maybe it would just make a cooler tubbering song. But like lyrically, it's basically about like kind of this zombie apocalypse. And the beginning of the song is supposed to sound like a horror movie like build, where it's kind of this settling weird sounds, and then the lyrics are again about kind of like this apocalypse, possibly a zombie apocalypse. And we were gonna call the song Body Snatcher instead of Feed the Rapture, because in the middle part they say Body Snatcher. But we were already ripping Radiohead off with our song later in this album called Optimistic, and that was also a Radiohead title, and we didn't want to have too many titles that were also Radiohead titles, so instead of calling this one Body Snatcher, we changed it to Feed the Rapture. And I like this song. My favorite thing in this song are the weird like turntable like speed ups and slow downs. I just bought this sped up and slow down. And then at the end of this song, there's like this group of people kind of like fighting. That wasn't anybody in Tubbring, actually. I threw this party at my house, and I just turned on everything in my studio and let people jam. But I also like recorded it, and they kind of started arguing at one point about what chords they should be playing. And I just thought it was a really fun little snippet to put at the end. This other guy, I always forget his name. He's a good guy, but yeah.
It's a lot of people. I had people ask me if that was us arguing in the studio a couple of times, which is funny. We never argued in the studio. We were all just passive aggressive. We would just pout and get mad at the other person and go write heavy songs in the other room when we were mad at each other.
Really true.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything else to add. That was good. Might have had something. No, that works. It's a good song too. It's a good example of a place where your voice definitely works well. I like the way you sing that. Never want to lose control. Sounds better than the way I sang it. It's a good mix of the two.
There's both of us, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think was it both of us at the same time? That was just you.
There's your voice.
I don't know. Have to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's both of our voices. Well, it's like I sing a part, you sing a part, and then we're both singing a part. And like definitely at like the end, the Armageddon stuff is mostly your vocal, like with mine kind of low underneath it. But it's definitely both of us singing through it.
Maybe you're saving that till later, but there's another great example. I think one of our better songs that is a good example of you and I taking turns. And that was Here Come the Fuzz. Why didn't we put that on this album? Was it written right after this album was done? I thought that was a good one.
No, I don't think so. It is a good one. And I think it was recorded kind of at the same time. Maybe it was right after this was done.
I think there's if we had it done, I feel like we would have put it on here. Would have been like a week or two after we were done with it. Okay. Enough about songs that aren't on the album. The next song is our cover of Flash by Queen. This was another one that you should probably do the most talking. My notes are, this was more of Rob's idea to do Flash by Queen, which is a good idea, but you could tell a singer doesn't bring in a song, hey guys, I want to cover this song with Freddie Mercury singing. But we did it.
That's funny. Well, I remember wanting to cover a Queen song really bad, and I don't think this was necessarily going to go on the album, but I thought we thought it turned out so well, and we put it on the album. We never put really cover songs on our albums before, even though we did a lot and even recorded a lot. But I just thought this one turned out so good. We just thought, let's put it on the album. And I remember like after this came out, and even while we were playing it live, we got like a lot of shit about it. Like people were like, what's with the like lame Flash Gordon cover, and like, are you guys trying to be ironic? And I was like,
would you
talking about
would you like me to show a visual of that or not?
Yeah,
yet?
so I got a little visual here. Yeah, go ahead. So there's I was digging around today, and I went on Amazon and I was reading reviews of this album. And there's a review on Amazon by Jerry Hathaway, and I've highlighted the part where he's talking about Flash. He says the cheesy Flash cover doesn't help matters. He's kind of like dogging the album the whole time, even though he gives it 3 out of 5 stars. So the cheesy Flash cover doesn't help matters. What were they thinking? And yeah, we can kill the visual now, but I mean, Jerry Hathaway, like, what happened to you? Who hurt you? What's inside your soul? There's nothing. This is just a fun song. What are you talking about? Like, is the original cheesy, or is our rendition of it cheesy? Like, I don't know. It's cheesy, or you're asking us what we were thinking. Jerry Hathaway, I'm sorry. You must live a hard existence, my man. It's just a fun song. Sorry, Jerry.
That was a good angle for your speech to Jerry. I gave you the. He is. That is a. How do you dodge that? You could be like,
who hurt you?
I'm with you.
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you, Jerry?
Who hurt you? Someone hurt you. Someone hurt you, Jerry.
Then we got that time-lapse video that Chris Grimley did the painting during it. That was pretty cool. I like that that's out there on YouTube. Okay, I think that might be all I have to say.
Maybe it is, Gary.
Huh? You're kind of cutting out, Rob. I didn't want to tell you.
Somebody.
Oh, it's good now, though.
Let me sign out. Let me sign out and sign back in.
Okay. Hi again, everyone. Rob signed out, and he's going to sign back in. He just gave you his Flash story. Flash is a good song. We were going to watch Flash Gordon again the other day. We were going to have a little watching party pre-coronavirus, but we did not, because even though we've covered that song and it's a great 80s cheesy movie, I don't know if I want to sit through Flash Gordon again. I don't know what we ended up watching instead. Oh, The Hunt, the movie released on VOD because it didn't get to go in the theaters. It was a fun, violent movie to watch. More violent than Flash Gordon would have been. I didn't have anything prepared today in case Rob left because I thought we had that problem fixed. But apparently we have not. And device is not connected. He's back. He's back in the room. Let's bring him back right now, shall we? There we go.
I've just got this like terrible COVID internet.
You do. Your internet caught COVID. Is Maggie downloading things in the other room? Large files?
I don't know. I hope stop the download.
Stop all the downloading.
As long as you can
we can hear
me, we'll just continue.
Your frame rate
even
about 5 frames
okay.
per second.
I'm looking at.
Oh, you're cutting out again. Okay.
So
this is a good lead up because this next song is obviously going to take a lot of discussion time. Shall we start it?
I've got a long-winded story about this. I just want to make sure my connection is like palatable before I dive into it.
I will let you go first. I've already told you a bit of what I'm going to say in an earlier discussion.
Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Stall him.
Okay. Look, you're frozen at a great spot. Wait, I'll do it coming from this way. Now it's like a goalpost. If you're watching at home, you could shoot something right in between them. I can close the goalposts more. This is really funny. I wish I could stick something in your mouth if I could get over there. I'm just going to have fun with this picture for a while. Let's see. Oh, gotta go. It's really hard to tell. There we go. It's funny. That's funny. I'm waiting to hear see if I hear a laugh from the other room. That's my audience. If Tanya laughs at that, I know she's finding it as funny as I do. Rob, where'd you go? Oh, no, he came in with a new stream. There you are.
I like the frozen.
Did you see that? I was going to say you should watch this afterwards.
Pretty funny.
Okay. You about ready for this one?
How's this? Is this any better?
No, not at all. It's not going to get better.
Is this better? Is this palatable?
It's palatable. It's how it's been the whole time.
Okay.
Okay. So I even feel bad about what I did with this banner because there's a very, very small chance that Facebook would pick this as our thumbnail screen, and that would be no good, and we would get kicked out of Facebook. So I did edit it a bit just in case. The next song, I Shot Your Faggot Horse Bitch. Rob?
Okay, so everybody always asks what this is about and why we would use such a heinous word in our song and in the title of a song. And we get asked a lot, and I've told the story as best I could a few times, and I'm going to try to tell it now. We would tour, the country. We would get to our venues. We would load in. We, would be driving all night, and we would go use the bathroom because the clubs were also our rest stops. And one little trick when you're on tour and you get to the club before anybody else is there, the girls' bathroom is usually nicer than the guys' bathroom. So especially if you got to go number 2, you go sneak into the girls' bathroom and there's nobody there, so it's fine. And you use the girls' bathroom. So I'm in the girls' bathroom, I'm in the stall, and in the stall is this letter, in graffiti, written from some guy that must have had the same idea as me to go in the girls' bathroom, and he wrote this message, and it was kind of sounded like a scorned lover, he was probably dumped by some girl, and he was writing her a letter like, yo, Cindy, fuck you for all the shit you put me through, and then blah, 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 and it was this big letter on the bathroom wall. Maybe he knew that she went to this club a lot and was expecting her to read it. And at the end of the letter, it said, P.S. I'm the one who shot your faggot horse, bitch. So, I read this and my mind was horrified. I mean, this is was this real? Did this guy get pissed off enough at his ex-girlfriend to go kill a horse of hers? And just the way he had written it and the way he used that terrible word, that I would never say or anything like that. It was just it invoked this feeling in me. I was like, oh my God, it hurts to read. It's scary and terrible. So it's, any strong emotion, when you're an artist or trying to have other people feel emotions, I put it in the song and I use it as a lyric and the title, not because it's a pleasant word or that anything like that. It was just, that was the quote. That's what I had read. And I wanted to incense some type of shock to the listener and or the reader of the title that kind of was reminiscent of the shock I felt reading it. And there was just be no other way to do it but to use any other word. Nobody could get that same sense of emotion that I got. And I tell this story exactly like that to some people, and sometimes they still say, well, I still think, you should not have used that word in a title. And, that always gets me thinking more into art. And I think it's the job of the artist to, sometimes make the listener or the watcher or the reader uncomfortable. And it's part of the job of the storyteller to tell things and present things in ways that have the most chance of evoking emotion off of the other side of it. Or at least that's what I want to do when I make something. And I just will defend my use of the word till the day I die. It's not my word. It was a quote. And I thought it was effectively pissed a lot of people off by putting it in the song and in the title. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but I don't apologize for saying it.
It's good. All right, I got a little speech. I think I'm gonna overlap a lot of the things you said, but it's easier just to read it like this. Yeah, you came in with the first verse and the chorus, and I too was shocked at first, but same thing made sense after a bit. I wrote the second line. I know you mentioned Flicka, so I mentioned Trigger. Trigger was actually Roy Rogers' horse, to keep that in there and just try to keep the hate and the darkness flowing through the song that you definitely set up. And I know I told you this the other day. We were talking about art, and I said art can be anything that elicits a reaction. If it has a strong reaction out of you, even if it's a negative reaction, that's art. Art elicits a reaction. So this song and that word definitely elicit a reaction, and we don't ever use it in a song in the pejorative sense, just in there as a word, but it's an ugly word, but lyrically it's an ugly song. It's supposedly very dark. It's not a feel-good song. And you could tone it down a bit. You could make it like I shot your fucking horse, bitch, which is funny because that's toning it down. But like what you said, it loses its impact. It's not as, so you kind of, I thought it was very brave of you to write that and go through with it. And it was cool. I was proud of you. But if I ever end up running for office and this song comes back to bite me, I'm putting all the blame on you.
That's funny. And I think it's also ironic. You mentioned that it's an ugly song, but it's actually quite beautiful, like the actual music and melodies.
Yeah,
that's what's ironic and kind of great about the song also, in my opinion.
Definitely. Cool. So that was, now people can stop asking about it. All right, moving along. Chronic hypersomnia. Would you like to go first or shall I? I guess I'll go first. You started the last couple and then I wrote this. I love this song. I always liked this song a lot. I liked the music when you gave it to me. It was all weird and creepy. I had a lot of fun with the vocals. I played around with a lot of weird, creepy things. Lyrically, it's kind of Illuminati, people in control, singing weird chants. And it actually has one of my favorite lyrics I ever wrote in it, lines. The screaming part, it's there a few have covered your faces, then where's the fear in showing your faces? Timing is perfect, what you sell we're buying, but it's up to you to provide a messiah. And I just like the way the words provide a messiah had a nice onomatopoeia to it, or just provide a messiah. I don't know. But it was a weird song and we didn't play it much, but I always liked this one a lot.
I also love it. It's probably our most experimental song that we've ever done, but yet still very catchy, at least in parts of it. I'm pretty sure you wrote the lyrics to this music, but I came up with the title. I must have given you the demo with this title. And I had, at the time, self-diagnosed myself with a condition called chronic hypersomnia, because probably throughout like most of my adult life, I have like slept. I sleep so much. I sleep 10 hours every single night, sometimes 11, like every night. And if I have like 9.5 hours sleep, I'm groggy all day. It's insane how much I sleep. And so that's what chronic hypersomnia is. It's this like oversleeping. And I'm happy to say I actually don't have it anymore. Now I sleep like 7 hours a night, 7.5, and I'm totally good. And I'm actually like a morning person, weirdly enough now, which is totally the opposite of what I used to be. But that's kind of where the title came from. And does that play into your lyrics at all? I wasn't sure.
No. And I thought about changing it. I must admit I didn't know what chronic hypersomnia was, but I did look it up immediately. But that didn't really go in that much. It just sounded cool as a title to fit.
I think musically, this one's kind of like an homage to Disco Volante in a way. It sounds to me a lot like something that could be on Disco Volante, and it's really experimental, and it has these like really kind of jazzy like part to it, and it's really aggressive at the same time. Scott Radway's drums on this are absolutely mind-blowing. He's doing this insane jazz punk stuff like in the beginning and in the bridge that is just like mind-blowing for me to listen to. And then at the end of the song, there's this piece of like experimental sounds constructed, like this piece that's kind of, it's actually called musique concrète. And I studied experimental music when I was in college. And so the end of this song is kind of John Cage inspired musique concrète, which is music that is mixed recordings. Like it's just constructed of mixed recordings. And I guess some people would say it's not even music, but definitely want to like incorporate this like experimental genre that we had never really used on one of our albums. And I agree, it's like one of the funnest songs on the album. I really like it.
Cool. Moving along. Optimistic. Why don't you start that one?
Yeah. So This is I remember the title was tricky for me because you named it Optimistic, and I was like, well, we draw so much stuff from Radiohead, and there's also a Radiohead song called Optimistic. But anyways, it was a cool title, and it fit his lyric.
Title it. I remember we discussed that, and we just couldn't. I mean, it had to be titled Optimistic. In fact, you should have titled Feed the Raptured Body Snatcher too.
And funny enough, even though the song is called Optimistic, it's actually directly inspired by another Radiohead song called 15 Steps. And if you listen to the beginning of 15 Steps and you listen to the beginning of Optimistic, the first thing I wrote in Optimistic was the drum beat. And it sounds a lot like the drum beat in 15 Steps. At least it's definitely inspired by it, and you can really easily tell. So it starts off with this cool lo-fi syncopated distortion beat. Our buddy Chris Stern did these background vocals. He's got this really deep baritone voice that just sound incredible on the song. The song's one of my favorites, by the way. Also, the production is like these guitar parts that loop and these drum parts that loop, and then another guitar part that gets added that loops on top of these. It's like loops upon loops upon loops. And they just kind of keep building. And I, gave Kevin the demo to write the melody and the lyrics over it, and I didn't have any idea how he would approach it. Like many of my favorite Tubbering songs, I almost thought, like, man, there's no way he can write cool vocals to this. And then when he gave me the demo back, I just love so much what Kevin does lyrically and melodically on this song. It's actually pretty genius, and I had to listen to it 5 times a day to kind of break it down in my head what he's doing. So all the music is looping. Kevin's doing this whole thing with 0 repeating. Looping is basically a line that repeats. Kevin has this long thing, this melody that never repeats, and he's never repeating any words. And it goes on for 2 minutes, and it's this long, beautiful run-on sentence where none of the cadences or melodies ever go back on themselves. And it's just honestly genius, in my opinion. I was blown away when he showed me the demo, and I was re-blown away when I listened to it, because I haven't listened to this album in 10 years, and it's awesome. And I think it's one of the best things Kevin Gibson has ever written. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Gabriel Kemp said the jungle scat always made him think of Hooked on a Feeling. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. That's 100% where I got that idea from, to throw the jungle scat in. So good ear. Yeah, this is one of my favorite songs by us too. The music was great. I was happy with my lyrics. I don't know if I want to go into them too much. I think it's self-explanatory, just an optimistic view on things, not to be such a downer, although I obviously go into a lot more weird things. The first line, I guess anything could be a catalyst with waking you up to having a better outlook on life. It's kind of cheesy, but I liked the lyrics to the rest of the song, so I guess I can be a little more, explain the cheesy influence in the first line. So I'm talking about crazy lights and strong whites and greens and everything. Since probably about 2007, I been very much into electronic music, and I like electronic music a lot and going to the concerts. And I was still thinking about writing lyrics on this song, and I was watching something and had all these kind of crazy lights going on while the pounding music was going. And it just seemed it put me in a good mood, surprisingly. So it was like this weird chant, and that's kind of what I was referring to in the beginning. But then it's just a better outlook on things as the song goes on. And that's all I have on that.
Nice.
All right, next song. The Day the World Will End.
Love it. I think I wrote down Scott's drumming is amazing on this, and it was, I think, one of the last songs we decided to put on the album, but it fits so well. I really like, there's a production effect that happens throughout the song where the instruments slow down and they kind of melt into the next part. And that kind of fits really awesome with the lyrics that Kevin wrote about the world ending. And it's kind of like the music ends several times in it in this meltdown. And it's just a fun song.
This one I'm just kind of lukewarm on. I don't hate it at all. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's good. I know I wrote the lyrics, and I usually there's certain things like if you write about a movie or a book or something, which I find a little cheesy, but I allow myself to do it maybe once or twice an album. That way, I justify it to myself. And this song was actually written about Southland Tales, so Richard Kelly movie. He did Donnie Darko, The Box, and I like bad, overreaching sci-fi, like Chronicles of Riddick and movies like that. And Southland Tales was this big, like there was there was a comic that led into it and all this other material and just big and nerdy. And I was in that world at that time when the song came in, and that's kind of what those lyrics are about. You actually wrote lyrics to this. I would assume you remember that. Ooh,
Did
I actually have that on demo.
What different than your lyrics?
It was Amelia was the name of the song.
Oh, I do remember that vaguely, but I actually had lyrics and melodies.
Written and recorded, yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that. I remember that title, and I remember it belonging to this demo, but I don't remember how my vocals went.
Yeah, I've been doing a little searching since I told people we had some goofy stuff somewhere in the vault. There's something else to go off on a tangent. Maybe not the time. So I did start finding a few of the Great Filter demos, and they are really bad. They're not just song-wise, but recording-wise. I think I was singing using my computer mic, just kind of yelling through a lot of them. So they sound pretty horrible. But we did something that was a cool idea, just kind of, and I don't remember doing it at all. But the songs kind of suck. I had a song, I Can Feel Them, Everybody. I think it was one of the first songs we wrote for Great Filter. You wrote at the same time a sequel for it using some of those lyrics, but for a completely different song. And I remember that at all, and it was a really cool idea. But both songs kind of sucked.
No,
I don't remember doing that, but it was a cool idea.
I want to hear those.
Moving along, Tip of My Tongue. Scott Radway wrote that, music and lyrics. So I guess I can't comment too much on it.
I thought I wrote the music, and then Scott. Yeah, I think, or Scott might have helped.
Yeah, no, you're right, because he had a few that he wrote music and lyrics. You wrote the music that one, and yeah, he wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, so Scott Radway, our drummer, who's also a brilliant songwriter, wrote the vocal melodies and lyrics to this one, and I think he did an amazing job. Like I had listened to this today, and I was also like kind of like blown away. He does this really cool thing with his lyrics and the cadence, where he like plays in the one part of the song with your expectation of what the rhyme will be and what the sound he'll making. He says like caught in the trap way-o, and he does this way-o, but then he rhymes way-o with stale, and the way he puts the accent on the word stale, like stale, it like reflects this ayo like chanty party had before. And it's like I was listening today, I was like, I mean, I don't know what you call that, but it's just like a really brilliant melodic move and a really like cool way that it played with my ear that I didn't even remember. And I really love what he did. And your voice sounds amazing on it. You do that amazing harmony on that word run. And it just sounds like a kaleidoscope or a rainbow just opened up in your ears when you do that. And I love the production on the song with the cool Middle Eastern flutes and the break beats, and it's just experimental and fun and kind of like a more chill thing that fit really well on the album.
Yeah, I think you covered everything. I don't have anything else written that you didn't say. Cool. Tip of my tongue. Am I skipping a song, or is this next?
That's next.
Yeah, last song in the album, Horrible and the Holy. I talked about it earlier. I loved this song too. This is just rock, and we got them both. I don't know which one I liked more, this or Stop This Now. Great rocker, fun to sing. Lyrically, it is actually another kind of breakup song, but I liked how this one came out. This is a breakup song that I liked. And I'm married now, so hopefully no more breakup songs, because I don't like writing breakup songs. But this one turned out good. I was very happy with this. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. I liked everything about it. It was fun. That vocal part at the end was a lot of fun to do. Good song, Rob.
Also, one of my personal faves. So I know I made the musical track, and Kevin wrote the lyrics and vocals on his own over that. But I remember I named it "Horrible and Holy," my MP3 that I gave him to write to, and I got that quote off the back of the Bukowski novel, Tales of Ordinary Madness. And there's like a Newsweek review, like on the back of it, trying to get you to read it. And the reviewer, this guy, Jack Knoll, I had to look that up. He's a literary critic, and he calls Bukowski's writings horrible and holy. And I just read that, and I just thought that was the coolest, like, turn of words, and I didn't know what it meant. And so I called the track that. And so, funny enough, we were going to call Feed the Rapture Body Snatcher, but we didn't want to because there was a Radiohead song called Body Snatchers. This song is actually inspired by Body Snatchers. And if you listen to the first couple bars of in the Holy and you listen to Radiohead Body Snatchers, you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. And that was the inspiration behind it. And Scott's drumming is stunning on this. I wrote stunning. And Patrick's guitar is really rad. I remember I had the guitar, but I couldn't really play the guitar the way I wanted to be played. And Patrick came in and played the way I wanted the guitar to be played, the way I had written it in my head, but couldn't play it on my own.
Is there another musical inspiration for this song?
And your vocal performance is outstanding in this song.
Thank you.
Which is what?
Didn't you give us a Queens of the Stone Age song when you gave us the demo and you're like, I like the vocals, or maybe just me, like kind of the vocal style here. Some song you gave me a Queens of the Stone Age thing. I think it was this one. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know if I did him that style, but just remember of songs coming in. Cool. Got anything more to... Oh, yeah, I went over it. Got anything more to say song-wise?
No, I think that's it. I think we can maybe turn it over to a little Q&A. You got anything else to add?
Turn it over to the questions now. While people are coming up with questions, I guess now is the time, and I think I know where this is going, where we rate our albums. Rob, why don't you go first?
This is my favorite Tubbring album. When I said at the beginning of this, I wanted this to be like the perfect album. Like, this is the album they remember you by. And I remember thinking, it's now or never. And then we finished it, and I felt like we had accomplished it. It was, again, it's like everything that Tubbring was in my head there on a disc. Like, it was arty, poppy, experimental, accessible, with just all that combined in a great way. I love every single song on it. And if we were making lots more Tubbs, good.
Well, you just skipped. You said if we were making good. Say that last sentence again.
If we were making a lot more Tubbring songs these days, I think a lot of it would sound like this album.
Yes. Well, in my ranking, we talked about this for a little bit before or after we did our show yesterday. When it comes to our rankings, and Rob and I agreed on this, my 1, 2, 3 and my 4, 5, 6, there's a gap between them. 4, 5, 6 albums, there were songs on it that we might have tried something that didn't work, or a few songs that didn't necessarily like putting them out. I don't think they're bad, but that's how I rank those. And my 1, 2, 3 albums, I was very happy when those were getting released. Those were the albums we wanted to put out at that time. And this was definitely, we had more time to work on this album than any other album. Rob went into that. We put out the album we wanted to, which is funny because as we went into reviews, some people think, well, there wasn't really a band on this. It was more electronic, and totally we went to a studio, record drums, full band, or it sounded stark or rushed. And once again, we had more time on this. This is a good album that we wanted to put out. But I'm still going to rank it then 3. And I almost feel bad saying that And I thought about that because I had a feeling you were going to go with this number one. I think Zoo was a little more me getting to go crazy, and I think Secret Handshakes was a little more Rob getting to go crazy. Both great albums, but it might make sense why this is my 3 and his 1, and vice versa on the 2. Obviously, using process of elimination, we were both going to say Choice of Catastrophes was number 2, but I'll go into my reasoning why tomorrow. I guess you will too. And let's open it up to questions.
Thursday.
Yep. Or yeah, Thursday. I'm sorry. I saw one on here I liked. Amy Elizabeth said, "Can you talk about Adam Sword a little?" Yeah, he was a fan. He's an amazing artist. He's still doing amazing art. I see his stuff on Facebook all the time. He's doing tattoos. He came out with us. He became a merch guy. He did art for every picture, or every different artwork for every song on Secret Handshakes. He came with us on tour, and as our merch guy, he would draw a picture every night inspired by the set or whatever's going on, and then he would sell that artwork at the merch table so he could have money to eat because we were always broke. And yeah, Adam Sword, good guy. There you go. I talked about Adam Sword.
I see 2 questions that I can answer real quick. Was it like, I saw this was asked twice on here, was it like a conscious decision? We dropped some F-bombs on here and had some like colorful language that we didn't have on our previous albums. And was that a conscious decision? I mean, I don't actually remember. I think we just kind of like felt loose with this album, and that like it was appropriate in places, you know?
I kind of answered that on, I think, the Drake equation thing. Somebody asked me, yeah, I never, just in writing lyrics, I never really swore. And then I guess just after doing it once on this album, it sounds dumb, but it kind of opened up a new world of flowery language and descriptors. So it kind of felt freeing in a way. But yeah, now I have no fear of swearing on albums. Still probably, yeah.
Arrow asked if there's like lots of production fun stuff. Is there a favorite production wise? Boy, I really like all the production on a lot of it for different reasons. I mean, probably like Bird of a Different Color has some of my favorite production that we've ever done, and so does Horrible and the Holy and Optimistic. Yeah, that's my quick answer. But also like Touching the Enemy and Stop This Now. But, yeah.
Here's an interesting question. I've seen it asked twice, which the answer is a little weird. Which came first, the album title or the lyrics for Tip of My Tongue? Which is odd because Scott wrote the lyrics Tip of My Tongue, but he brought in all the lyrics except for, I forget what the word was. He had something written there, and we're like, can we change that to, I don't know, something that fits? How about When You're Out of Secret Handshakes? And it was the only thing, I think you might have even suggested that we suggested in that song. And then somehow, oddly enough, it became the title of the album. There was a few different things I think we threw out. Oh, yeah, I already said Turtle All the Way Down. And there's a few other ideas for titles, but eventually ended up on Secret Handshakes. So, yeah, in a weird way, the song was written last, and we changed the lyric, and that became the song title.
Donald asks, so this was like kind of the end of the band as a touring unit. What happened? We get tired of touring and living like pirates. Yeah, I mean, touring was really tough, and unfortunately we didn't get to tour a lot on this album, which I think is kind of a shame, because I think a lot of people will cite some of our earlier albums as their favorite albums, but I think part of that is due to the fact that they saw us play it live for years. And they become, you know, you if you hear anything like 10 times, and if you're a fan of us and you come to like all these shows, you're gonna like start to like even the stuff that you didn't really care for at first, and so maybe like if we would have toured on this more, I think obviously it would have sold more copies and been in more people's hands, and obviously it being high on both of our lists of favorites, it would have been nicer if this was written and recorded. So it's been better. So, yeah, you know, and yeah, we toured a lot. It's like I also moved to LA shortly after this album came out, and that made touring / recording, writing All But Impossible. And we all kind of like, there was like members of the band kind of leaving or phasing out, and it's hard to find new members. It's so hard to find new members, especially when you're playing stuff that's kind of complicated and you've got a lot of songs and all that. So it was just kind of like a lot of things happen at once. Not that we were sick of each other or playing live, just that's how it went.
I remember before we put this out and we were sitting on it for whatever 3-4 months, like I was just thinking, and like, oh, we got a hit record here. I can't wait till this comes out. I was like this. I was going to say something else about it too, but I forgot. Oh, it's a good record. It's a shame that. Oh, I know. When you go over your life and reevaluate things, I sure wish we would have put out this album after Zoo Hypothesis. Like, if this was Great Filter, I think it might have changed the course of the band a little bit. It was a much better follow-up. Oh, well.
Well said. I 100% agree with that. Secret Handshakes should have came after Zoo Hypothesis.
Oh, someone's asking about the Cerebralist guide. Yeah, me with my fun trying to put secret things on there. I kind of tried to start my own, I don't know what you would call it, secret society. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted to share. Let's stop that screen. Secret society, culty kind of thing, even though this is more secret societies than cults. I made the, where is this? Oh no, why can't, oh, there it is. I made the Cerebralist guide. Cerebralist was going to be my own little secret society, and I put this online. I worked on my little religion here. I read through it today, and that's kind of like what you're saying, how you listen to old songs and don't remember everything. I had a plan for all this to try to indoctrinate people, and maybe if the band didn't work out, I could become a successful cult leader. But, I didn't get to do that. I still could, yes. Well, I'll have to go through these. Oh, and I remember I made some references down here to the music because I made this after. And Secret Handshakes was also concept-y album. I had this whole story that fit in there that only I know, but it fit in this story. And it was in Chronic Hypersomnia. You sampled like a door opening and shutting in there. So I made that kind of a secret sign. If you're at your safe house in the secret society and you think that you're in danger, you would do that. So that signified danger at that point of the album. There's other few things in there, but yeah. Too bad. Kind of went nowhere.
Any chance of releasing this on vinyl? No, I would say 0 chance. Sorry. That's the short of that. Just, I mean, that would be awesome for like 6 of us, and
I thought we were going to go through our catalog and release it all on vinyl.
People are asking about Stop This Now being in Rock Band. I don't really remember anything about that. I know somebody that made those skins or whatever that go in the game hit us up and did it, and I was like, cool, thanks, and that was the end of that. I don't really know where it came from or why. Yeah.
Have you seen it? It's on YouTube. Kind of funny. Like, it's amazing how they like fit things.
I've seen it. It's been a while, but I remember seeing it. Amy's asking about your lyrics to Stop This Now, specifically the line, "You're getting closer now, sacrifice real, and the morals that you still allow." Want to elaborate?
Really? I don't know. Paranoia, people getting closer to them, behind them. The character in the story now had to sacrifice all they believed was real to move on into the next stage. This is definitely evolving in this, seeing something that brings an evolution to people. The secret society was somewhat malevolent. Yeah.
There are lots of Simpsons references in our comments right now, just tons of them.
Are there?
Just
one Simpson joke. I'm not seeing them. I'm behind you. You're reading them on your phone, right?
Yeah.
I think I also, you said, what's the story you thought of? I kind of wanted, I don't want to just say like the story, but I think I even have some more stuff that was going to go on the website where someone was missing, a celebrity, and then it was going to be a whole Stockholm syndrome thing that the society had opened her mind up to this new thing, and it was showing it to the world. And I took weird pictures from Google Maps of people that probably didn't want their faces taken, although Google Maps blurs them a bit and made it look weird and creepy. And I put a few news stories up, but I don't think I followed through with all of that. So I guess you're never going to know the story.
Craig asked about B-sides from this record. Yeah, there's a bunch, I guess, or a few. I think that song "Here Come the Fuzz" is on the remix album. That, I guess, is a B-side from this. And there's a few others I don't really remember. I assume you put some of the "Abusive Abuser."
I did not put that, or did I put that on the Rare thing? I just found that. Okay.
Some
yeah, almost everything that's in our Rare and demo file from the USB was from this album. Because, like I said, I didn't want to put too much from Great Filter, but now I might be stuck to that. But yeah, there was demos, and I think they're all out there. As I said, you guys can trade between you if you haven't heard anything. I'm pretty sure a few of the people on here have everything.
What was our favorite remix from this album? We put out a remix album after this album that was remixes of Secret Handshakes. I have not listened to the remix album in 10 years. I don't even know what's on it at this point. I would have to listen to it again to give you a favorite. I liked quite a bit of it. I mean, remixes are just kind of fun, little things. I don't know that there was one on there that I can recall like standing out more than the rest of them, but it was a fun artistically, or maybe they weren't fans, but other people interacting with us. On our songs.
Yeah, you saying that made me open up the file. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on there. Here Come the Fuzz was on this album. So I think my favorite was your remix of Here Come the Fuzz. That was on the same album as Here Come the Fuzz.
That's kind of funny.
The Fake Shark, Real Zombie remix I liked. It's kind of cool to hear someone else covering kind of in a way. So they had like the different vocals. I don't know. It's cool as a singer to hear somebody else singing your lines. I really liked Lee's. Lee did something really cool in his Touching the Enemy thing, where I was singing the Going, Going, Gone scream vocal, and he did like this cool glitch kind of cutting in and out. It was like, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on here.
I remember really liking the Burn remix. Somebody did. I actually remember his name, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I always think that guy did a really cool remix. I don't remember what it sounded like, but it was cool.
Yeah, Chris Gardner had the song on there. He did two different remixes of I Shot Your Faggot Horse. They were both cool. I remember deciding on which one to use. I think they're both on YouTube if you're curious to hear them. They're both great.
Mike Regalado did the remix for Burn. I remember I liked that a lot, the Burn one. So I guess the Burn one was my favorite.
Like, if we didn't mention you, I'm sorry. I don't want to mention every song on there, but there was something cool in all of it. Remember the Horrible and the Holy? I put some weird, it almost sounded like a sample behind like that at the break, which I always hear now when I hear the real song, even though it's not in the real song. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah.
Well, cool. I mean, feels like questions are winding down, and we've been at this longer than probably the previous ones.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, 2 bits.
Sorry for all my long-winded stuff on this one, but I do really. It is. It's my favorite one.
Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us for this. We have another day left. Maybe just one more day left. We will be doing a choice of catastrophes on Thursday. Once again, stay safe and healthy. Thanks a lot. This has been fun, and we will see you on Thursday. Thank you.
See you on Thursday.